What sort of treatment have women received so far? It is very true that women have gradually lost their rights or freedom in certain cases due to a lack of competence. There are those who think that, because of this, special abilities are the only criteria for having rights. Such people, however, actually want women to be wage-less slaves under the strict supervision of men. But is it merely due to their lack of competence that women have lost their rights? Have not the overflowing sentiments of their hearts also been partly responsible? Have not women, swayed by their emotions, ignored their own petty interests and gradually given everything, even the high social status that fascinates them, to their husbands, sons, and brothers? Is it not reasonable to expect human beings, certainly human beings are not animals, to pay proper respect to such humility and large-heartedness? If a guest arrives unexpectedly, who volunteers to forego a meal to feed the guest? Who deprives herself first when a delicious dish is prepared? Who leaves home to keep house for others, giving up her paternal property rights, regardless of what the law says? Are not these observations applicable throughout most of the world? I do not say that men are ordinary human beings and that women are angels. I have only focused on women as human beings and mentioned their special qualities. Does a husband, when his wife is ill, nurse her with as much care as she nurses him when he is ill? If men wish to prevent helpless widows from remarrying by taking advantage of their sentimental female hearts, they convince those widows that they will be reunited with their late husbands after their deaths, so how can they consider remarrying? Shame on such men. Perhaps such tales may make women, already sentimental, even more so. The prospect of being reunited with the spirit of their deceased husband after their death may induce helpless widows to undertake rigorous lifelong penance and to fast on every Ekadashi, the 11th day after each new moon and full moon. Are not those who want to keep women slaves to dogmatic ideas guilty of acting against the dictates of their consciences? The very idea of heaven and hell is sheer nonsense anyway. Such stupid ideas thrived in the minds of those who popularized ancient myths, but they have no capacity to find a foundation in the solid ground of rationality. If, however, in order to humor such fools, I accept the existence of heaven and hell, I might ask, if the spirit of a wicked husband goes to hell and grazes in the fields as a bull, should his virtuous wife also go to hell after her death, become a cow and start grazing beside him? Let us end this digression. The main point of the discussion is this. Those who take advantage of people's simplicity or ignorance are veritable demons in human form, and those who deceive people by exploiting their sentiments of sacrifice are even worse than demons. Freedom is attained through struggle. No one offers it on a platter, because freedom is not a gift, it is one's birthright. But as far as the rights which women have lost today, at least so it seems in most countries of the world, a proper socio-psychoanalysis shows, I should say, that women have not really lost their freedom, rather, they have trustingly placed their destiny in the hands of men. This is the plain truth. That is why I cannot but laugh when I see a certain type of snobbish lady, who pretends to be learned, entrust her children to the care of a maidservant or nurse, travel about in a car purchased by her husband, attend meetings, and make lengthy speeches on the freedom of women. Actually, when there is no question of women's rights having been snatched away, there is no need for a movement styled on the trade union movement. Whatever responsibility there may be in this regard, it is entirely that of men. If at all a movement is required, it must be implemented by men themselves. Today, men should consider the needs of women and gradually restore to women the rights which women once entrusted to men out of feelings of helplessness or in response to their heartfelt sentiments. It must always be remembered that freedom, or liberty, and license are not the same thing. The concept of women's freedom is good, but license should not be encouraged in the name of liberty. Giving license to either men or women could destroy the social structure in a short time. Hence, those who are the most vocal in proposing the freedom of women must carefully consider the form this proposed freedom shall take. When we pay recognition to any simple truth, we should not be carried away by sentimentality. Only rationality based on humanism is acceptable. As children of nature, women should have the same access as men to light, air, earth, and water. In fact, it is not a matter of granting rights to women, but rather a case of recognizing their rights. If, however, the recognition of women's rights is treated sentimentally, 1. It may result in great social disaster.